the more you get to that perspective, the more I feel you'll connect with more people. Holy shit. I feel like we've forgotten how to do this. This is like back to square one. And the reason I think that this works extremely well for establishing rapport, making friends, building connections is because... Alright, what's going on, everybody? Courtney Mirage here from XtreMerps.com. And today is going to be an interesting podcast. It's also the first one. So, I'm on a mission right now. I'm trying to figure out just why everybody is hating each other. Because I know I'm not the only one who feels this. I'm pretty sure everybody's like saying that nobody knows how to connect anymore. Nobody knows how to make friends. Everybody's on social media just talking smack. And everybody looks in that comment section and it's just like, oh, where's the troll? Or, you know, anything like that. And I'm trying to change that. All right. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to just share what my perspective is on like stuff. And I'm going to start with the first one, which is how to make friends. And I know as basic as that sounds, I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there who might get a little value out of this because holy shit. I feel like we've forgotten how to do this. This is like back to square one, 2024. And I feel like we're just talking past each other at this point. Don't know how to have a conversation. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to make a friend. And then maybe you can take that, you can run with it. Maybe you can share it with somebody. So we're just going to start with step one. Remember somebody's name when you meet somebody. So let's say you're going out to a bar. I don't know. You're at a house party. You're at like a salsa club. I'm a salsa guy, so, you know, a little biased there. But anyway, let's say you're out and you're talking to somebody. The first thing they usually share is their name. And you will hopefully say your name back. And then immediately, everybody always forgets that person even exists because they just forget their name. And that to me just makes no sense. I mean, worst case scenario, you could just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot what your name was. But most people just like start talking past each other and then they want to like get the other person's attention and they don't even know what to call them. And then they just get all awkward and stuff. And they're just like, can somebody like tell me what this person's name was? You know, when you do that thing where you're kind of like you tap your friend and you're like, what was their name? What was their name again? I forgot. Exactly. All right. So the second step, and this has worked for me, ask people about their interests. And I can't emphasize this enough. You can just have a 3-hour-long conversation and establish the most rapport with somebody by simply asking what they like. And I know the first thing that you're going to clap back with is, oh, but what if they don't like anything? Everybody likes something. Everybody has something they're interested in. You just got to find out what it is. Maybe it might take like a little bit of prying. It might be like pulling teeth to get it out of them. But you can just ask them like, hey, like, what do you like? Like, what's your deal? What do you like to do? And then most people will tell you. They'll say, oh, I like mowing the lawn with my earphones plugged in, listening to a podcast. I like skydiving. Anyway, there's a million different interests. You all know that. And the reason I think that this works extremely well for establishing rapport, making friends, building connections is because it honestly shows somebody that you care about what they have to say instead of like talking about just you. And that also goes a long way because at the end of the day, people love to talk about themselves. If I'm being real. And like, I don't mean that in like a sociopathic way to say like, you know, you want to capitalize on that. And, you know, I know that there's sociopaths out there who do capitalize on that. I'm not one of those people, I promise you. That's probably something a sociopath would say, but we're just going to ignore that. The point is, let people talk about themselves. It's a great way to get to know somebody. It's a great way for them to just open up to you. And most people like to open up about stuff that they already know, and their interests are the things that they usually know best. So start there. Speaking of interests, the third thing is listen more than you talk. And this one is a huge one for me. As a matter of fact, like this can sometimes be a pet peeve of mine when people talk more than they listen, because at the end of the day, it starts to signal that they are more interested in themselves than they are about you. The point is, listen more than you talk. this is incredibly effective at building rapport as well, because in addition to the last one where I was talking about people's interests and asking them about their interests, it's really important to just listen. You don't need to have something ready to say. You can just let people finish their thoughts and actually finish them and respond to what they're saying. Most people will like ask a question or say something and then sort of have like the next thing that they have in their head that they're trying to say. So for example, like if two people are talking about cars, I know nothing about them, but I just bought the Kia EV9. The thing is amazing. And I say, like, let's say you and I are trying to like be friends, and then I ask you like, oh yeah, so what do you like to drive? And then you tell me, oh, I have a Toyota Corolla or something. And then instead of asking you about that, I'm just like, oh yeah, so I drive the Kia EV9 and that thing is amazing. And let me tell you everything about the Kia EV9 and why I love it so much. And I'm not even going to ask you about your Corolla. That shit is trash anyway. That's so 1980 or whenever it came out. Somebody like fact check me on that. Actually, when did that come out? When did the first Toyota Corolla come out? 1966. Oh, that's interesting. The first generation of the Toyota Corolla began production in Japan for the 1966 model year, but it wasn't until a couple years later that it hit the American market. First rendition of the Corolla set a precedent for reliability that would continue over the arc of this model's storied career. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. This is also from a Toyota website, so take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows that a Toyota is reliable. Kia EV9 TBD. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that it's really important to just listen to what somebody is saying, ask more questions, dig deeper into their thoughts, and don't just like have something ready to say after the fact. Actually respond to what they're saying. Couldn't be more of an important tidbit I could share with you. So my next tip is when you do respond, try and relay it back to like the original topic at hand as much as you can or as often as you can. So what I'll notice that a lot of people do when they're like either sharing a story about themselves or they're just like talking and they're like, talking with somebody back and forth is they'll start like adding like layers to the thing they're trying to say, and then eventually it just digresses so far that they're not even talking about the original conversation anymore. You know somebody like that? There's like nothing wrong with this, but at some point I think it becomes like cognitively difficult to like continue down all the steps to like eventually backtrack to what you were originally talking about. So let's say for instance you are asking me like, oh, did you go to college? Did you go to university and study at all? And then I respond with, oh yeah, so I did go to university. I studied mathematics. And then I proceed to say, yeah, my mom, she said, when you go to university, you should study the thing that you're passionate about and that you love. And so I decided to follow her because I, wanted to follow in her footsteps because I had somebody who didn't follow in their mother's footsteps and it didn't end up working out for them. And then eventually, like I noticed like with their life, they didn't end up liking their life because they didn't listen to what their parents had to say. And you should always listen to what your parents say, because if you don't listen, something bad could happen to you. And then bad things happen to everybody and the world is in a dismal place and we're never going to make it out alive. You see what happened there? Like we went from just studying at university to like the dystopia that is 2024. And, sometimes that can be good for conversation. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to jump from topic to topic. That's actually really cool. That's how you sort of progress in topics. But a lot of times, especially when you're just getting to know somebody, I think it's imperative to, kind of stick to the original topic a little bit and like try and bring it back to that as much as possible. If I did somehow end up talking about the dystopia of our universe, then I would say, so this world, I don't know what's going on here, but that's why I went to study mathematics, to hopefully figure out how to change that. You see, you can always like tie it back in some way. So tying it back, always a good thing to do when you're telling stories and responding to what somebody has to say. So this next one is a two-parter, and essentially it's smile and make eye contact with people. I don't know where we decided that like smiling was no longer a cool thing to do and like you're kind of like lame if you smile. or like you're showing too much emotion or something. Smiling is like one of the greatest things ever. It like exudes probably your like best energy, and it's also like pleasant for the other person. And a lot of people think that by smiling you're somehow like becoming more vulnerable and like, oh no, they can't see me like enjoy myself and have a good time. I don't know when that became a thing, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who's noticed this. I'm pretty sure that you have as well. But yeah, smile and make eye contact with people. Like, seriously, what are we doing here? So another one, this is a little bit deeper. You know, I'm not going to get crazy deep on this, but it's important to remember that you're not better than anybody else. Like, everybody has a story to tell, and it's important to realize that, because while you may be like a multi-millionaire with Bugattis and you're I've been watching a little too much Andrew Tate. Let me backtrack on that. So let's say all right, so let's say, you know, you like have the perfect career and like you're making so much money and like you got all these friends already and you don't even need to watch this video because of the amount of friends you have. And you meet somebody and you're talking to them and then you're almost like looking down on them. What that kind of implies is that your life is somehow inherently better than theirs, and you know, couldn't be more wrong about that. Honestly, like, even if somebody isn't as educated or as rich as somebody else might be, they still have a story. And I have like a kind of a theory that I might dive into at some point, but I think that everyone is kind of a professional in their own craft in some way, in like their own thoughts. So let me expand on that a little bit. So let's say somebody's depressed. They're probably an expert at depression, right? Because that's been their experience for however many months, years, however long they've been depressed. And they could probably tell you day to day what it's like being depressed, how it feels to wake up in the morning, go to sleep depressed, and the things that they take, the things they don't take, the thoughts that they have. And that alone is a story that's worth sharing. I know that somebody depressed might not want to share that story, but the point I'm trying to make is that just because you think your life is perfect and then somebody else's is below you because they don't either have what you have or something like that, it doesn't mean that they don't have something to share and something that you can learn from. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is connect with people, be humble, and understand that everybody's got something to share. And the more you get to that perspective, the more I feel you'll connect with more people, because you're not going to come across as arrogant and thinking that you know it all. You'll be open and receptive to other people's thoughts and perspectives. And I think that that's generally a good thing. So yeah, hopefully somebody got value out of that and take that one to the bank. We'll see if maybe that works for somebody. Yeah. And with that said, I'm going to toss it over to what XtreMerps.com actually is. So let's go ahead and hop over to that, shall we? So this is what we're looking at right here. So boom, let's go ahead and let's pop this open. So we're going to go to XtreMerps.com, and here we are. So this is a website that I made. It's a rock, paper, scissors website. And the whole point of this is to just, I don't know, kind of just play rock, paper, scissors. So I'm going to actually just go through a little bit of this here and just share this and shill, because I'm just shilling my site at this point. Essentially here, you got a couple options here. You can hit the daily challenge, where you can fight a bot, and then you can hit rock, paper, scissors, back to back, toe to toe with a bot. If you have no friends, see the previous part of this video if you want to learn how to make some. You can also create a room, and you can join a room with a friend if you want. You can read that here. If you can't read, it says try the daily challenge or create a room to play with a friend. Pretty nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop in. So some of my friends have been saying that the daily challenge is actually close to impossible. The bot is too OP. We're going to find out. I've played a few before, but anyway, we're gonna see here. So we got some characters here. So bam, look at that. Bam. This is gonna mean something to you in a bit. Boom. We got the gold digger. Might be your ex-girlfriend. We got Bigfoot. Might be your ex-boyfriend. We got Leech. Might be your ex-friend, to be honest. So anyway, we can go ahead and pick one of these, and then you pick this character, you start the game. It gives you a little how to play here. Boom, you got to get your opponent's life points from 100 to 0. You got some items that you can buy with gold. The whole shebang. That's it. And then you got some daily challenge tips here. Anyway, so boom, this is the bot right here. This is me right here. And this is their life. This is my life. And we're gonna start clapping them up. So let's see what we got. We got some power-ups here. Boom. Add 5 power to rock, paper, or scissors. Right now, it has... Oh, snap. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Anyway, so I selected rock by mistake, and I lost because while the bot did pick rock as well, and we technically should have tied, he's got this thing called tiebreaker, which if I end up unlocking it, I can show you here. And you'll see that he wins ties. That's the whole point of the tiebreaker. He wins ties. So he just clapped me up here. So we're gonna try this again. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and use this health potion. I can heal 20 life. Just healed 20. Here you can see that he's got some. This is the history of the bot. That's what he selected. So I'm gonna guess he's picking scissors. So I'm gonna go rock. Bam, bam, got him. Let's go. We're gonna hit that again. Okay, so he hit rock again. I'm gonna assume that he's going paper. So I'm gonna hit scissors. Boom, look at that, easy. I bet he's gonna go scissors again. Watch. Boom, I'm gonna hit rock. Bam, clapped him up. Let's go. He's going rock again. I see it. He's going scissors. Ooh, let's go. Let's go. See, I told you this is easy. And then he's going to go rock next. Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Okay. He's going paper again. Because he did rock twice, paper twice. So he's going paper. I hit scissors. Let's go. Okay, he hit scissors. He's going rock. He's going paper. Okay. All right, so I lost. That's fine. Anyway. That's quite all right. So anyway, that's the daily challenge. You can also play with a friend if you want. You can hop in here. You can hit create a room. And then when you do, then you wait for another player. So we can just hop in here. I don't know what I named this room. I think it was ASDF, join room. Boom. So if I were to give a couple more details on the front end and back end of Xtre Merps, it's a React front end. So React, JavaScript, all that stuff. It's a Node.js back end, WebSocket server on the back end. That was the best way I knew how to pretty much just have like that real-time game mechanic. You know, so yeah, I'm a huge React nerd and I love JavaScript. Recently, I've been getting into Rails. Well, last couple of years now, I've been getting into Rails. Rails, in my opinion, took a lot of getting used to because React, there's a lot of flexibility and freedom in how you can go about either making components or things like that. And Rails is super opinionated, in my opinion. And you kind of have to like stay on the rails, for lack of a better term. You're almost railroaded into doing it how they want you to do it. And there's like good reason for that, I guess, because if you don't, then you'll end up kind of doing some nonsense. There's this thing called active record, which is a huge component in Ruby on Rails, and there's the active record way of doing a lot of stuff. And if you don't follow it, don't follow at your own peril, is the best way I can put it. But yeah, pretty much how I got into coding. I started in insurance because I studied math in college, didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And then some professor was just like, hey, there's this thing called actuarial science. Do you want to study that? And you can be an actuary. And I'm like, sure, whatever like gets me to not have to either be a teacher or do research. Nothing wrong with those things, by the way. I think teachers should get paid more, and they are severely underpaid, and they are treated like crap in this country. And research is amazing because that's quite literally how we get new shit. So, props to both. But not my cup of tea. I don't really want to do either of those, but I just happen to be good with numbers. So then I started studying actuarial science. And essentially what that is pretty much a mathematician in the insurance industry. They're the guys who raise your rates because they almost never get lowered. And the reason is they predict just what a certain book of business is going to do in terms of like the losses that they're going to get, the claims they're going to get, like certain populations. And then they predict, okay, like we're going to need to anticipate this much premium to cover those losses in advance. And that's essentially how that works. And I didn't really like doing that so much. So I was doing that for a bit. And then luckily, one of my bosses at one of my jobs, they asked me, they were like, hey, you told me that you kind of like to code. You want to like code this thing for us? So essentially it was like a quoter that pretty much quotes an insurance policy based on like all these selections and stuff. And when I said I knew how to code, I pretty much knew how to like do an if statement in Excel. Like I did not know how to code, but hey, fake it till you make it, right? So anyway, I eventually started coding this thing, this quoter that would quote insurance policies and spit out a premium. And I fell in love with like the process of building a program. And I built this in VBA in Excel, by the way, Visual Basic for applications or whatever it's called. I don't even know. But the amount of if statements in that program is unreal. It's like a nested if of like 100 ifs. And I'm like, okay, this is just how you code, right? This is how you do this. Turns out I couldn't be more wrong, but I had to start somewhere. But anyway, I fell in love with it. And then I realized I didn't want to do insurance stuff anymore. I kind of wanted to go down the programming and like software engineering path. So then that's exactly what I did. And then that's how we ended up at XtreMerps.com. Moral of the story is, I would say follow your passions. To a degree, that's true. But you should follow your passions that you're good at. And like there's like a hand in hand there, right? Like you get good at the stuff that you like and you like the stuff that you get good at. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't fucking know. And like that's like a really tough thing to answer, I guess. But there's like a middle ground between that. What do they call it? The Ikigai? Hold on. Where is it? Boom. This is it right here. Ikigai is a Japanese term that blends two words, iki, meaning to live, and gai, meaning reason, which translates to a reason to live. It's a concept that encourages people to discover what truly matters to them and to live a life filled with purpose and joy. Bam. Let's pop this open. Japan.go.jp. Can I just get the picture? Who are these people? So this is like beautiful right here. Ikigai. Please, somebody correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But yeah, what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you are good at. So these two I'm talking about here are the what you love and what you're good at. That's the passion, I guess. What you love, what the world needs, that's the mission. What you can be paid for, what the world needs, vocation. What you're good at, what you can be paid for, profession. So this is like a beautiful thing to strive for, I think. And I don't think enough people think about this. Ikigai is like where it's at. If you can like nail these four, I would even say if you can nail these two, I would argue that you could like that's 90% of the battle right there. What you love and what you're good at is almost going to get you exactly to where you need, because most people I think love something and they're not good at it, or vice versa. Okay, you know what? I guess I take that back. The world needs to sort of need it also, because you could love Flip Cup and be really good at it. But who knows? Maybe there's like a Flip Cup competition and you could like get paid $1 million. Who knows? People are getting paid to just eat fast food all day. So, shout out to the mukbang peeps. Anyway, yeah. So this is essentially what I came to the conclusion when I decided to go into software engineering, was Ikigai. And yeah, maybe it's something worth exploring. Yeah. But anyway, so that's the first episode of the Xtre Merps podcast. And, I'm going to try and pump a few more of these out. That's the goal, because honestly, like, I'm trying to like bring people back together, and I don't know exactly how to do that. I guess in that Ikigai, that is my mission. That's my mission. Let me see this again. What the world needs or what you love. I love people, and the world needs to bring people back together. And I'm going to do that. Anyway, catch you in the next one.